Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the SCIVANA launch event. We know how excited you are because we are excited too. We've been getting all your emails. We love you so, so very much. Now, I know what you're here for. You're not here for me. You're not here for Justin. You are here for Florentine Ayanita, the OBE expert, the extraordinaire, the person who has taught me through doing his course how to have more than one OBE experiences in one night. It is phenomenal. So without further ado, we're just going to turn it over to Florentine. Okay? Mwah! We can't wait to hear your response. Oh, and remember, before the next event, which is in an hour, you will have that link in your email. So check your email, click that link, and you're instantly in on the next live with Aaron Apke. Okay, Florentine, take it from here.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this live. Thank you that you guys turned in and took the time to watch this. This is going to be about 1 hour of me talking about astral projection and everything around that. So my name is Florentine, and I'm the founder and creator of elasticperception.com, which is a training platform for people that want to learn how to get out of their physical bodies. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting topic. So let's get into it. So first of all, before we actually start, I wanted to say that at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give out a $500 discount code to everyone that watches this presentation till the end. You get a code at the end, which you get a discount for. So make sure that you stay throughout the whole presentation and watch this. Now, what I'm about to share with you is going to be based on my last 10 years of research and personal experiences with out-of-body experiences, astral projection, consciousness, near-death experiences, and everything alike. All right, so I'm going to share the screen with you here. I'm going to go to my presentation here. Oh, I think the host has to enable me to share the screen. I'm waiting for the host to enable the share screen function on Zoom. Host? Okay, so we're just waiting for the host to...
One moment, please. Getting...
Is there one button or two? So we have 66 participants now. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a good time and you're not too bothered down by the virus and the lockdown and everything.
Yeah, well, you are good to go to share all your knowledge with your split screen.
Share screen. All right. Okay, so what we're going to cover today is what is astral projection and out-of-body experiences. What are the benefits of having these experiences? You know, that's important to know. Why would you want to do this? And what impact does it have when you have these experiences? What kind of results do you get in this physical experience? And why it is a crucial part for our evolution as a soul. And then I'm going to talk about the 3 ways which you can astral project, and also how you can learn them the fastest, the most efficient way. And then I'm also going to give you a powerful takeaway practice, which you can start doing tonight. All right. So first of all, who am I? Who is this person talking here? Well, I would say I'm a truth seeker. And I would say it's been around for most of my life, this desire to seek out truth. But once I saw the movie The Matrix, it really kind of triggered something in my mind, I think, where I was like, okay, this movie's just on point, like, because it was talking about like the basic questions of what is reality? Like, what is this place that we are experiencing right now, where we can see things, we can touch things, but what is it? What is this place? Is it what we can see? Is it what we can touch and feel? Or is it something more? Is it a dream? You know, so there's all these questions started to kind of kick in when I saw this movie. And I started to question my reality more and more. And at the same time, I also had this, you know, huge passion for movie making and graphics. When I saw this, I was like, wow, this movie is just, it's so beautiful. So many visual effects, so many cool things. And I started to I wanted to start working with these kind of movies. So I went on a journey of a career path where I was going to university to learn how to make these kind of things. And soon enough, you know, after working myself up in the industry, I got the privilege to work on some of the biggest movies that we know, like Iron Man, Superman, Total Recall, all of these movies. And I was basically creating graphics, brainstorming ideas for different effects. And I was really working on the magic on these movies, really, you know, hands in, going on set, and having a very interesting experience with them. And I think for me, it was all about the magic in the movies and all these small magical things. However, after a while, I started to feel a little bit depressed because I felt like the magic that I was seeing in these movies was kind of missing in my life. Like, life just felt a little bit mundane. It was just like, you know, you go to work, you come home, you go to work, you party on the weekends, you know, I'm sure you guys can relate to that. And it just felt like, what's the point? Like, what are we doing here? You know, so the big question starts coming back again. And again, I was like, okay, so what am I doing here? What's the point? Why am I here? What are we going after, right? And so this existential crisis led me on a spiritual sort of path of self-discovery, where I started to attend different spiritual workshops and retreats. And I also worked with different psychedelics like ayahuasca, DMT, LSD, mushrooms, yeah, a lot of things. And I was really into like exploring with the consciousness and understand like, why is it that you see these fractals on LSD or mushrooms? What is that? You know, what's going on? So, you know, these experiences were very interesting. I started to get like a really good sort of understanding that there is a wider reality around us, which we cannot see in a normal state of consciousness. But when we tap into a different state of consciousness, we can sort of experience something else. So this was very interesting to me. But however, it wasn't very sustainable because, as you can imagine, you know, you cannot have mushrooms every day. You know, you need to also go to work and you have to be normal, right? So it wasn't really a sustainable way to explore consciousness. So I was trying to find another way, a more, you know, a reliable way that I could do on a regular basis, on an everyday basis. And of course, this led me to astral projection. And it took me some time to learn the practice. It was difficult, like many people that come to this practice experience, that it can be very difficult with the normal old sort of school methods that has been used so far, that I was learning at that time. It was difficult, and it took me a long time to get into to figure out what was going on, right? And the thing is, I'm not a gifted child, and sort of I don't have any special abilities. Like I don't see auras, I don't see ghosts, or I don't sense spirits, any of that stuff. And I'm not a master of meditation either. So I see myself as just a normal person without any special abilities or so, in terms of, you know, in this kind of area. And so for me, what always happened was that I would always fall asleep, or I would just lie there, you know, trying to get into this state, and like nothing would happen. And this was going on for a while, and it's one of those things that gets you quite frustrated. For all of you guys out there that's tried, you know how it can be quite frustrating when you try and it just doesn't work, and you don't really know what's going on and what's the issue. Now, I had some teachers that helped me out, and I went to different retreats, but still there was a lot of stuff I had to do on my own, and I had to figure out so many things, and it was just difficult. That's what I want to say. It's difficult. It was difficult. However, what I was doing to actually overcome the challenges that I was facing was that I started to self-experiment using a scientific method where I would just try different things and then I would note down what the result was. And after doing it over and over again, I started to figure out some of the things that was making me fall asleep and some of the things that make me stay awake, and all of these things. I started to understand those things. And at that point, I got this idea. I was like, what if I would use my technological background that I have from the Hollywood movie industry, from visual effects and editing and all that stuff. What if I can use that stuff and sort of create something that can help me with the practice? So I started to create tools straight away, tried to create different soundtracks, different tools that I would use to help me with these different problems that I was experiencing. And soon enough, I started to basically have tools that would allow me to focus on the practice for much longer and be able to get deep enough into the right state that I was able to go out of body. And I was able to go out of body consistently with these tools. And I learned that you don't really need to be a gifted child or a master at meditation. You just need what I call training wheels. Because in the same way that you need training wheels when you learn how to bicycle so you don't fall down, you need training wheels when you learn how to astral project so you don't fall asleep, for example. So that's the thing. For those people that are very, they have pre-born abilities, they don't really need any help. They can just lay down and boom, they're out of body, right? But most of us are not like that. Like most of us have a little bit more difficulty. So that's where these training wheels come in. Now, with these training wheels, I started to be able to get out of body consistently, and I started to really figure out what made it happen. And I write everything down. I created a whole sort of system around it. And so what have I learned so far? Doing astral projection for, I don't know now, maybe 7 years or something like that. What have I learned? Well, I've learned that we are more than our physical body. That this is some sort of vehicle that we have in this dimension to operate in the physical. It's the frequency of this body is in the same frequency of this dimension, so we can sort of operate here, right? But we are not this physical body. We are consciousness, we're a soul, we're a spirit, or whatever you want to call it. And we come here into this world to learn and to grow. And when we die here, we just continue on to another experience, right? And what I've also learned was that the universe is, we're not alone in the universe. The universe is full of life. There's life everywhere, and it's not necessarily on a different planet, but there's endless of dimensions that you can visit, and there's inhabitants there that you can connect with. And of course, that's the best part, that with you don't have to die to go anywhere. You can actually experience these other dimensions and explore out of your body with the astral projection practice. And so, so what happened then, of course, for me was that the magic was back. The magic that I was missing, that I felt like, hey, where's the magic in the world? It came back where I really understood that, hey, there's so much more out there than this that we've been sort of taught. This is what you do. This is it. This is your little box here. This is your little house. You go there, you go. It's like there's so much more, and there's so much magic out there. There's so much amazing, profound things to experience and to learn and to see and to grow. And it's endless, really. And so that, for me, just brought back so much more magic and so much more joy in my life that completely shifted my perspective on everything, really. So that's great, Florentine, but what about us? So, of course, for me, when I got to the point where I managed to have all these experiences and have all this knowledge on how to actually have them and these tools, I was thinking, well, how cool would it be if I can actually help other people to achieve these states as well? And I was really focusing a lot of my time figuring out how I can teach these things that I've figured out, the tools that I've created. How can I, in a really clever way, package it and give it to people so that people are able to basically go out of body easily, right? So what I did was I created the Astral Projection Excluder online program. And this is basically, if you were to say what this is, it's basically me taking all the knowledge and all the tools and everything that I've learned and packaging it in a small little online portal, right? That I can then give access to anyone in the world so they can also learn these things and start having their experiences. And to skip the pain and the frustration that I had to go through and just take a shortcut and get there way quicker and reliable. So that's what I created. And I'm going to talk a bit more about this program later on in this presentation. But for now, I want to go over and talk about what is astral projection and out-of-body experiences. Because the thing is, it's a huge topic and there's a lot of different conceptions, different ideas online and in books and everywhere. There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of fear-mongering stuff, and I just want to make it more simple to people who's watching to understand what it really is. So first of all, it's a natural born ability. It's not something that is strange or weird, or you don't need to have any drugs or anything to do this. It's a natural thing that your body can do, and it's basically you're able to shift your awareness from your physical body into your energy body. So you have different energy bodies that you can operate in different dimensions. And so you can shift yourself into one of these energy bodies, and then you can explore beyond the limitations of the physical body and the physical dimension. One of the interesting things is that people have them all over the world spontaneously. It's something that occurs to people just like in the night when they're sleeping, boom, suddenly they're out of body and they don't know what happens, right? A lot of people get scared when that happens because, of course, if you just find yourself out of your body, if you don't know what this is, it can be pretty frightening, right? So there comes a lot of scary reports that people experience. But if you know what it is and if you practice it, it's a whole different thing. Then you go into it intentionally and the fear is just way, way less. Now, another thing to say is that when we're sleeping, we naturally detach from our physical body. So at night when people are sleeping, the energy body is sort of leaving the physical body and just kind of hovers a little bit above it, right? And that happens every night. And that's how our physical body goes into this rejuvenating sleep state where it's just resting, right? And now with the astral projection practice, you can actually take advantage of this detachment and control the energy body consciously and travel with it like a little vehicle. Just the same way that this is a vehicle, operate in this dimension, there are other vehicles that you can operate in other dimensions. Okay, so what's the experience like? Is it like remote viewing? So a lot of people sometimes mistake astral projection for remote viewing. Now, this is two different things. So remote viewing is like something that you can do meditating, sitting down, and you start channeling information from a different location. You can you can get like information from maybe a military base. The U.S. government used this to spy on the Russians. So you can sort of download information. You can see visions of a place. You can sort of experience different sensations, but you're not really there. You're just sort of downloading information from that place. With astral projection, you actually go there. You actually travel outside of your body, and when you go out, you're completely immersed. And the same way that you're immersed in this 3D environment, it's very much the same. Like you're entering another 3D looking environment, where you are able to basically look around. You can turn around, you can go left, you can go right, you can fly up, you can fly down, you can fly, you can teleport, and you can also go through walls. because the walls, if you're in the physical dimension, the nearest to the physical dimension, you can penetrate walls because they vibrate at a different frequency than your energy body. So you can go through walls and you can fly. You can also have an X-ray vision where you can see through objects. You can also have like a sort of zoom vision where you can zoom into things, or you can smell things that are really far away. Or I've experienced hearing things that are really far away. Like you can be in your room and you experience like sounds that are 100 meters away or more outside of your home. So it's a very profound altered state of consciousness that it's unlike anything you've ever experienced before. It's not like having a, you know, if I were to compare it to DMT or ayahuasca, it's nothing like that. It's way more controllable. You're sober in the experience. You're able to just use your thoughts and navigate around without having to, you know, it's not a difficult thing. It's actually very liberating. It's very freeing. You just sort of hover around to where you want to go. And with your thoughts, you can just command, like, take me to this person, or give me, you know, take me to a place that's going to be good for my spiritual evolution, or whatever it is. Like you can make these commands and immediately you will start sort of drifting away into that direction. And it's definitely it's the most profound thing I've ever experienced. And I've experienced a lot of cool shit. All right, so now where can you go? Because of course, we don't really know, no one really knows much about this stuff. So where can we go? Well, first of all, it's important to understand that the universe consists of data, like information, like a code in a computer, like in the Matrix, basically. But not a computer, not like in the Matrix where we're slaves to some robot race, but just some completely different, undescribable matrix that we live in that has probably endless dimensions that are like fractaling out. If you look at these pictures I've laid out here, we can see that the universe and nature is basically, it's created through fractals. There's fractals everywhere. Everything that is, you know, small becomes big, and it's repeating the same pattern everywhere. And the way to look at it is that physical reality, if you look at the image with the iceberg, physical reality, it's a very small fraction of reality. The major reality is non-physical reality, and it's huge. I don't even know if there's, I think no one knows if there's any end to it, right? It's just massive. And you can explore that with astral projection. And so people have been trying to sort of categorize the different places you can go to, and they've labeled them with different names. So we have the mental plane, which is basically the dimension of the mind. And that's where lucid dreaming comes into place. So with lucid dreaming, people mistake it for astral projection sometimes, but lucid dreaming is basically when you're exploring your own mind, your own imagination, your own thoughts, right? So you can be in an environment in your own mind, in the mental plane, where it's just completely your environment. You can change the colors of the walls, you can change your shirt, you can change anything because it's all your own little simulated reality, right? But if you go outside of the mental plane, you enter other realities that are not simulated just by you, but are collectively simulated by multiple other consciousness beings. Now, when it comes to lucid dreaming and the mental plane, we should not disqualify it for being something useless, because it's extremely powerful, because you can create, you can use that state to create things. You can use that for creativity. Like if, for example, that's something that I was experimenting with when I was working with Hollywood movies, being able to go into that state and then using your imagination, you can create anything. So if you want to, for example, design a car, and you want it to be pink or red or whatever, you can just go into that state and just start creating a car just with your intention. You can create a whole landscape. You know, you can just create whatever, and it's just instant. You know, you don't have to sit there and work it out, because it's non-physical reality. So everything is just extremely quickly just manifest in front of you. You don't have to spend years building it like a physical dimension. And also you can go and heal traumas, past traumas, you know, from your childhood or different things that might have happened to you. You can go back and sort of re-experience that scene and heal different things. That's something that the Lucid Dreaming community is using very powerfully to work on different traumas that they have and heal. So yeah, very, very powerful stuff. Now, the etheric plane is another one. So this is a plane that we just, it's basically the near, what we also call the near Earth field. So it's basically, you have the physical dimension, and the closest vibratory dimension to this one is called the etheric plane, right? And when you when you get out of body and you're in your room, for example, most likely you will be in the etheric plane, where you experience a version of the room that you're in that looks the same. So you can see into the physical, basically. However, for a physical human being would look around the room, they will not see you, because it will be invisible, because you're vibrating in a different frequency with your energy body than what visible light would be. So people cannot see you, but you can see them. So yeah, you can go and visit friends or travel anywhere around the world, but use it ethically, of course. And this is also something that the CIA has been using for, you know, gathering information. They've been, it's been a declassified files that came out where they basically talk about the usefulness of astral projection. And there's this interesting quote here that I've highlighted. Human consciousness is able to separate from physical reality and interact with other intelligences in other dimensions within the universe. And that's the CIA talking about this kind of stuff. So that's very interesting, you know, and I'm sure, you know, they use it for other reasons than what we would use it for. But nevertheless, they're interested in this kind of stuff as well. And they've been doing this for a long time on the ground. And we don't even know exactly how much they know about this stuff and what kind of tools they have. But you can just imagine if you and me, if us normal citizens can learn this skill to go out of body, right? Then of course the military would want to use something like this to be able to use it for whatever they want to use, spying or gathering information or, you know, other stuff like that, of course. But they will not tell you in public, but for sure they're doing this. Okay, now the astral plane. It's one of the most famous planes that everyone's talking about. This is a plane of, you know, I don't know, endless dimensions, all kinds of dimensions. You can go to dimensions that are, there's basically different realities, different non-physical realities that you can visit. And some of them might be super, super Stone Age kind of level, like low evolution, where they haven't even invented fire. And you go there, then they look at you like you're some sort of god. They don't understand anything. They're very primitive, right? And then you can go to other dimensions where they have super high level technology, and they're super advanced, and they live in like a super interesting astral city, you know, with like crazy technology, with hologram technology, with flying cars, with all these things. You can find that in the astral plane. You can find all of these different realities. And of course, you can also find the afterlife, which is one of the big areas where people want to explore with astral projection, exploring the afterlife, finding out what is coming after this. Where do you go after this life? Last but not least, of course, is time travel to the past or probable future. And that is something that you can do also in the etheric plane. You can go back and you can revisit maybe London, how it was in the past, what it looked like in the past, or how it would look like in the probable future. You can do these kind of time traveling, because when you are going out of body, you're not in the same time zone as you are when you're in the physical body. You can transcend time and space with the energy body, within the states, basically. And also another thing that's really interesting is that consciousness can travel faster than the speed of light. You can just think of a place and you can immediately just appear there. And it's like, you know, it's instant. You don't have to wait to travel there. Right, so what are the practical benefits of having out-of-body experiences? Because of course, you can travel there, you can go there, you can go there, but what's the point? Why do why do people do this? Well, first of all, it's a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of fun. Great adventure. I think it's a great, great hobby. But of course, that shouldn't be the only reason to do it. There should always be a deeper reasons to why you want to indulge in this practice, because it's a practice. It takes discipline. And so one of the things is, of course, gather information about yourself and the universe. And this is something that many people have a very strong desire to sort of understand more about, what is this thing that what are we, where do we come from? Where do we go after? What is the universe? There's so many questions out there that we don't have the answers to, that we need to have answers to, right? And that's one of the things that you can do with it. And of course, that means expanding your consciousness. It means spiritual growth, because you get a better understanding, a better perception of what is going on and what is your role in this world and in this universe. And of course, it also expands your psychic abilities. You can develop clairvoyance and other senses that you can do with other spiritual practices, but out-of-body is one of those practices that really boosts all of the spiritual psychic abilities. And of course, also creativity. You get way more creative. So for all the creative people out there, like this is a gold mine. It's like having access to exploring reality and seeing things that no one else has seen. You can imagine what kind of creativity you will get when you come back, when you've seen something that's like, wow, I've never seen anything like that before. I want to start painting that. I want to create that, or I want to design that building that I saw in this natural city. Wow, right? That kind of stuff. And then, of course, is connecting with spirit guides and other intelligent beings, or maybe just other beings from other planets or other dimensions. And the spirit guide thing is one of those really, really important one that a lot of people come to me for, because your spirit guide has been with you your whole life, and so it's been with you maybe in other lifetimes too. And so they have so much valuable information about yourself and what you're doing here, why you incarnated, and what what your purpose is, or that kind of stuff. And they can really teach you so many things. When I met my spirit guide, which is a she, I asked her, the one question that I was really curious about was, what is my purpose? What am I doing? Why did I incarnate in this physical dimension? And I really thought that she would tell me something like, oh, you did it because you're gonna create something, or do something. I guess my ego wanted something like that. But what she told me was completely different. She told me like this. She said, you chose to incarnate because you wanted to experience love and relationships. That's it. Love and relationships. And that was a lot to take in, because that's quite a profound thing. What is love? What is relationships? Relationship to yourself, to others, to animals, to everything. There's so much there, right? Yeah, so another thing you can do is healing yourself and others. And this is also a huge topic. Everyone, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Reiki, which you go and you put your hands on someone and you can send energy. Now, when you're out of body, you can do that kind of Reiki, but it's way more powerful, because you don't have the filters of the physical body that's kind of, in the way. With your energy body, just pure energy is going up to your friend or whoever it is that needs healing. You can just kind of go to their house, and you can, with their permission, of course, and just heal them. And another thing you can do is healing yourself. Now, that is also profound. Of course, you can go out of body, you can heal different aspects of yourself. I have one of my clients that had a skin problem, which he tried to heal with conventional methods like pills and different creams and stuff. And he tried for years, and it just didn't work. And then he just kind of gave up all the pills and all that stuff. And one day just decided to, hey, what if I can use this astral projection practice for something really useful for my own sort of healing. So he went out of body and he created with his intention this healing cream, as he calls it. And then he put this healing cream on his energetic body, just all over his body. And after about, he said, I think after about 1 or 2 weeks, his skin problems just started to fade away. And it's gone, hasn't come back since then. And that's super inspiring. You know, just imagine what this kind of practice can do to the health sector, you know, how we can heal people, how we can heal our illnesses through this way. Because, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys know that are into the spiritual field that it's all the illnesses usually first manifest non-physically in the energy body and energetically, right? And then it starts to create itself in the physical body. We start to get cancer or different things. And if you're able to go out of body and heal these kind of problems before they even appear, well, wow, that's a pretty profound thing to have solved in the world. So that's a whole different area that I would love to see more people working on in the future to heal these, to heal the world really in this area. And then, of course, the last thing that I want to talk about is reconnecting to a deceased loved one. And this is one of those things that's so powerful because we all know that we're going to die, right? We all know that we're going to have loved ones that will die, our parents will die. And all of us, we fear that this is going to happen one day. And we all know we're going to, we all feel this fear that we're going to get very traumatized when it happens. But what if we knew that we could use something like astral projection to go out of body and actually visit them, and actually see them again and get closure, or just to know that, hey, they're still around, they're not gone. Well, with astral projection, you can do that. And I have 2 clients. I only have 2 clients that ever came to me for this reason. And I'm happy to say that as of last week, both clients have managed to reconnect with their loved one. And this is something that I would love to see more of in the world. I definitely want to create a tool or like a gateway for people that want to connect with their loved ones to be able to use my program to be able to get out of body and connect with them. Because we shouldn't feel completely destroyed when someone is doing such a natural thing as going through a transition of dying in the physical and moving to the non-physical. We shouldn't be traumatized. We should be able to just know that that's okay and we can see them again because we have this tool. Okay, so what impact does these experiences have on people? So, of course, after doing this for years, you start to really get that better understanding of what you are, where you come from, where you go, and you start to have that confidence that you know, sort of, that you're going to be okay, that you're not going to disappear when you die. And you just realize that you're much more than your physical body, and there's a much bigger reality out there than just the one they're experiencing here. And this is just a little bubble comparison to what's out there and what you will experience in the future. And that really puts everything in perspective, you know, your problems in this life, it puts that in perspective. The people around you puts that in perspective. And also you get more compassionate about people and other and animals and alike, because you realize how short you're here. You realize that you're here for a little short while, you're learning different things here, and then you're going to move on and you want to make the best out of it. And you're not scared out of dying because you know that you're going to continue after dying. And that makes you a bit more fearless, and it removes the fear of death. Many people report this. And it's also fear of dying for yourself. So you don't get as afraid of, oh, I'm going to die. Oh no, like that's not something that you need to feel as scared about. And of course, the fear of other people dying, like we talked before, is also something that just starts to fade away when you realize that, hey, actually, we're not going to die. We're just going to transition. It's okay. We shouldn't get so scared and so sad about it. Right, and that brings me to why it's crucial, why this is crucial, why this practice is so crucial for our evolution as souls, right? And I like to put it this way. We are basically born, we're born in this dimension, pop out, and then we're like, okay, we look to our parents and we think that they know everything, they have the answers. And then we grow up and we realize that, fuck, no one knows shit, no one knows anything, right? No one knows at all what we're doing here, how we got here. There's different religions that's trying to answer these questions, but they're not doing a really good job because we have a lot of wars and we have a lot of conflicts. It's not really working out, right? And so that's the first problem. We have this amnesia. We don't remember anything from our previous lives or anything, right? And then we live in this sort of ignorance. We enter the human experience and we start getting brainwashed by school, by parents, by TV, by everything, and on what we should focus on what we should put our attention on, what we should put our money on. And we start to get quite distracted away from what's actually essential, which is spiritual growth. Because when we are here, but when we die, everything that's here, we don't take it with us. We just take the good deeds we have done, we take the good connections we have done, we take that with us, karma, that kind of stuff, but we don't take any physical objects with us. We don't take the car and the house with us, or all the money that we made before we died, And then the third problem is that most people die unprepared for death. Like, most people don't know what dying is, what's going to happen when you die. Some people have different ideas, or they're going to go to heaven, or maybe they just think they're going to disappear. But what I've known from all the research I've done and my own experiences is that a lot of people get very confused when they die because they immediately are being popped out of their body. The physical body is dying, maybe it's lying on the deathbed there, and their other body now, and they're like, what the hell is this? Why am I still alive? Am I not? I can see my friends, but they cannot see me. There's a lot of confusion and a lot of sort of panic because you don't know what's happening to you. And if you haven't prepared for this transition, you won't be able to make that transition a successful transition. You might just be extremely scared of what's going on and get sucked into your own sort of personal story that you tell yourself. Maybe you hang around in the near Earth field, which what we call ghosts, people that hang around, and they don't want to let go of the physical because they don't know there's anything more out there. So they think this is it, and they're just going to hang out. They're just going to be in your house, hanging out, thinking, hey, maybe one day they're going to see me, but no, it's not going to happen. So that's an issue there, that people don't know what to do after they died. So we have these three huge problems. We're born with amnesia, we live in ignorance, and then we die unprepared for the transition of death. And that's why I think if there was a manual for this human body that we have, then this manual will have astral projection as a part of it, where it would teach you that, hey, use this method to be able to explore beyond your physical body and figure things out. And I think it should be our birthright, to be honest. I want to see a reality where this is not going to be something that is strange or woo, right? It's going to be something that is actually like scientifically proven, and people are going out of body, and our whole evolution would change into much more expanded, a spiritual nature of reality. And we will no longer see each other as separate, but we will see each other as one collective consciousness that's here and that is immortal and is continuing throughout the different dimensions to learn and to grow. And that's a very important thing that I want to see happening in the future. Now, okay, so we only have a couple of minutes left, 45 minutes left. Okay, cool. So I want to quickly go through the 3 ways to astral project. So when I started, I only thought there was one way, which was through meditation, but I found out there's actually more ways. There's, for example, through sleep. You basically, it's a way of programming your mind so that when you go to sleep, you are able to, you have dreams, which you always have, but in the dreams, you become lucid. You start becoming aware that, hey, this is a dream. And then once you do that, you can transition into an astral projection. That's one way. And then the other way is upon awakening from sleep, which is basically immediately when you wake up from sleep, you're still in this in-between awake and sleep state. At that point, the door can still be open and you can go out of body. And then the last one is through deep meditation, which is the most common and the most famous method, which is you basically get yourself in a deep meditative state where you're able to get yourself into a state where you're able to go out of body. Now, all of these three methods require physical body to be completely asleep. It's not important. It's not. You don't need to be in sleep paralysis. A lot of people make this mistake. You don't have to be in sleep paralysis. You don't need to be paralyzed. But your body needs to be asleep to be able to go out of body, so that you can detach your control from the physical into the non-physical body and control that instead of the physical. Very interesting stuff. All right, so now I wanted to give you away a powerful practice that you can start doing tonight. So for those of you that practice out-of-body experiences, out-of-body travel, astral projection, one of the things that's really important is to be able to basically heighten your energy awareness. So you basically need to do energy work on a regular basis to get your awareness clear. So with this exercise, what you need to do is basically very simple. You pull energy from up from the sky down through your head all the way through your body, and you do that with 5 breaths. You bring all of the energy down through your chakras, and then after that, after you've done it 5 times, you just circulate it through. You circulate that energy that you created through your energy body multiple times, just like in this animation here. Just circulate the energy through all your chakras up and then around, and then constantly doing that circle. And at the same time, you need to feel energy, not necessarily visualize, but feel it. And then also use your deep breathing. All right, so, okay, what's the best way to learn astral projection? And how long time does it take? Is it difficult? Yes, it's difficult with the old method. When I started, it was difficult. But now, with my program, with all the tools that I've created, it's much easier. To the point where I'm happy to announce that I have a lot of people that actually succeed on their first attempt, which is just unheard of. I've just put some of the pictures up here of different people that succeed on their first attempt. Henry Naidu was one of the students that succeeded on his first attempt after just 2 days of joining the program. And then we have Kevin Soares, which is very interesting. It's a guy that came to me, wanted to do an interview, a Vice interview. I'm not sure you're familiar with Vice, about astral projection and what you can do with it, all those kind of things. And he came to me and I said, hey, why don't you try the program and document yourself doing it? And he had experience on his first attempt. And he's working on this documentary right now. He's going to release it hopefully in a couple of weeks. And I'm very excited to see that. And so, yeah, people are able to go out of body on their first attempts. And this sounds crazy to a lot of people that have been practicing it, that know how difficult it can be, to the point where I have people actually messaging me and say, hey, why do you put this kind of fake lies, marketing gimmicks online that people got out of body on their first attempt? I'm like, well, it's true. And you can ask these people, like message them privately, say, hey, tell me about the method. Did you go out of body on your first try? And they were like, yeah, it's amazing. Okay, and so here, what's the best way to learn how to astral project and how long does it take? Again, so what I created is a 12 weeks proven program where it's basically based, it's a lot of videos where I talk and explain how everything works. And we go, it's a program that takes a complete beginner that has no idea what astral projection is to someone that can do it on a regular basis. And it has, it has a lot of tools, and it has one-on-one unlimited coaching during the 12 weeks that we work together, which is also like unheard of, obviously. I teach all those 3 ways that I was talking about before in the different weeks modules. And I go through basically in the week 1, we talk about, all the details about what the practice is about, how your mindset needs to be. We talk about fear, and we go through the different methods in each week. And then we focus on all the one-on-one coaching to make sure that you understand what you have to do and that you don't get stuck. And the whole idea with the program is that we're going to experiment with you to find your what I call your projection blueprint. So every time you practice it, it's basically you going to do an experiment with yourself, and all the ingredients that has to do with, like, when you went to sleep, how many hours of sleep you had, what you were thinking about before going to sleep. There's so many things. All those factors are like ingredients to the experiment. And by recording all of these details, step by step, we can start seeing what works for you and what doesn't. Because the thing is with this practice is that it is a personal thing. What works for someone doesn't necessarily work for the other person. So it's important to have this customized approach that I'm providing here, so that we can actually troubleshoot and we can really understand your situation, your specific schedule, work and sleep, and get you, the best help, so that you can really focus your time on succeeding and not frustration. Okay, so now, for those of you that wants to know more about the program and wants to basically find out if we can work together in this 12 weeks program, make sure to book a call with me on this website, elasticperception.com. And for all of you that are here now and watching, you get basically a $500 discount if you put the discount code SCIVANA in the application. So at the bottom of the application, there will be a part where you can put the discount code, put it in there, and then I know, okay, you're going to get a huge discount. All right, cool. So now we will have 7 minutes for question and answers. Yes. Okay. Let's see how this is going to work. Exciting. Okay, let's see. Do you have any suggestions for teaching children in the art of astral projection? Teaching children is probably going to be very, very easy, because they are much more susceptible to these kind of things than adults. They have a much more vivid imagination. So I would just suggest the same practice as it is for adults, but just expect them to succeed quicker than adults. Can you expand a bit on the technique which you recommended to use tonight? So the energy work I was talking about tonight. Okay, cool. So basically, you just, what you have to focus on is the feeling. It's not imagining, visual things or hearing things. It's actually, the feeling is the most powerful when it comes to energy work. So you want to close your eyes and you want to just imagine some sort of an energy going through your head, going through your whole body, all the way to the ground. And you imagine this 5 times, like imagine pulling energy down through your body. And then when you've done that 5 times, you just start circulating the energy up through your body and around, like in a sort of this toroidal field around yourself, and then up again through your center and around. And you keep doing that until you feel like, okay, I'm really energized now, right? And you do this before you go to your out-of-body practice. And also you want to do this on a daily basis just to keep your energy up. And this is going to help your projections to be much more clear, and less blurry, less sleepy. Some more questions here. Count one spirit. Any more questions? Let's see here. I have a question here about, can we hear conversations also in astral visits? Yes, you can hear conversations when you travel. I mean, you're experiencing, when you travel, you have all your senses active. You can hear things, and you can see things, and you can overhear your friend's conversation, and then you can afterwards say, hey, I was out of body and I went to your house. And were you talking about London bus station and how you went there and you fell down on a banana, whatever? And they'll be like, oh my God, yes, I did. And then you have that little personal confirmation that your experience was more than just your imagination, you know? And that's important as well, to have these, to make these confirmational experiences where you're able to check that what you experienced was actually real, you know? A question here, how to prevent from falling asleep while attempting to go out of body, or how to not fully wake up in the morning? Well, that is basically, there's different, for the falling asleep part, there's a couple of things you can do. One of the most important things, which I can tell you right now, is to basically practice in the morning after you had some sleep, and also practice somewhere else than your bed, and also practice in a sitting position, not in a lying position. Those things will help you to stay awake longer. Now, however, those things, for me, when I started doing this, I did all of those things and I still fell asleep. So for me, I needed something more, and that's why I created these soundtracks that I was talking about before, which is basically like training wheels to help you to stay awake for a much longer time, actually indefinitely, really. And that's a really good way to keep yourself awake. But it's the devil is in the detail. It's all these, there's so many factors that play into it. You need to really go through all of them, like just make sure that you check box everything, like, okay, so that you can start figuring out how you can keep yourself awake. And the thing is, you want to be awake, but you don't want to be too awake. So it's all about finding that magical state where you are awake enough, but not too awake that you're just lying there thinking thoughts, and then nothing happens.
Okay, everyone. I'm so sorry to interrupt this amazing learning. I know we could literally learn from Florentine all day.
That was amazing.
It was fantastic. This was us
Thank
the
you.
entire time. We're just like right? Face front. But you guys can sign up for the free call and ask him all your questions. All the questions that you're asking now. So don't worry, he'll definitely get to you. And we're so very excited with all the love we're getting. Amazing job, Florentine.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
That,
Do you have
was
anything
incredibly
to close
enlightening.
out?
Yeah, thank you. I think I covered most things there.
Okay. All right, guys.
Right.
Well,
All right.
say goodbye to Florentine and make sure you sign up for that call. Here's the link to get to that call. Elastic Perceptions, please do it. It's an amazing experience once you know how to do it, how to be guided and all that. All right, people, it's time for Aaron Apke. Mwah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
That was
Bye.
incredible. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.